All right, so double standard first. Cool.
Okay.
You're gonna want to pull the microphone closer to you.
Yeah, forgot. Gracias.
Does it make you uncomfortable? Make you feel like a? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joshing.
All right, we're gonna start the silence now, and then I'll give you thumbs up.
Okie dokes.
Okay, so she has to
No, this
start.
is not episode 7. You said episode
Got it.
7.
What is this episode? What we went through?
5.
1, 2. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're listening or watching. This is Sazon Talk with Janelle and Amanda. Amanda and Janelle in the building.
Yeah, majority voted Amanda Janelle. I was like, son of a
See,
bitch.
I told you. It just rolls better. Amanda. See, not, but I got used to Janelle and Amanda because that's how the logo is. But Amanda and Janelle just sounds 10 times better. But we think those that have watched the past 4 episodes of Sazon Talk, we've heard a lot of great reviews. A lot of people that either have known me for years, didn't know certain things, and they were like, "What? Huh? What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Well, I guess."
And then one of your friends has a crush on me.
Yeah, but it's a given because you're a hottie, you're a hot tamale. So come on.
Thank you. I guess so.
I'm just saying, Listen, you've had super encounters because, like I told you last episode, it can't be me no more. So, because my whole nigga's crazy, so it can't be me no more. But I'm willing to share the amount of love that the universe has with you. I wouldn't share with anyone else. Actually, I would share with Brittany. That's probably the only other person I would share it with. But maybe we'll get on an episode in the new year. Since we're going to ride out, this will be one of 2 new episodes, but it'll be the last probably 2 of 2020. And then we'll restart to rejuvenize ourselves for 2021 with some new topics, some guests. We're going to spice it up a bit in 2021. So I'm excited about that. But we want it, once again, for the first few episodes, at least first 10, to just be me and Amanda, where we just talk our shit and get comfortable. That's what I think a lot of people, I think that's probably the biggest, feedbacks that I've gotten is just like, after like the first 2 or 3 episodes, now you guys sound comfortable. Now you guys are,
now you're vibing better.
Your vibes are different. And I'm just like, okay, like, I'm just going to keep talking. And Amanda's going to keep talking. And it'll be what it is. But before we get started, did you watch Selena?
I've not.
Oh, my God. I asked the boys when we recorded. Excited as fuck. Like, so have you guys watched Selena? No. I was like, what? But it's because me and Mikey binge watched it the Saturday it came out. So
How did you like it though?
So as everyone, when you think of Selena, you think of J-Lo, you think of the movie, you think of. So what I like about, without spoiling it, what I like about Selena the series is it's definitely, to me, not about Selena. It's about AB. It's about Suzette. It's about Abraham. It's about the band.
What is it, Quintanilla?
Yeah,
family?
the Quintanilla family. So it's about them and their struggle. Like, yes, it's about Selena and her being the focal point and the lead singer and things like that. But you hear about the other band members getting a solo album opportunity or doing this or doing that. You see AB having his first kid. Like, those kind of things, like, you didn't see in the movie. The movie solely focused on Selena. So I think the series, and also her sister, Suzette, is executive producer of the series, of the Netflix series. So that also, I think, played a part in them having someone from the family to be able to give their personal touches on different things. And she was, I was listening to an interview. She had said, basically there was like 1 or 2 scenes that they did where she just bawled, cried. Like, she just cried. And she just was like, it reminded me so much of my sister. And you can honestly see the relation. I think it shows a better side of the relationship between Suzette and Selena. I think in the movie, they were cool. Especially like when they did what's his face's hair when they cut his hair up so to make him look clean.
Chris.
Yeah, like they have that bond and things like that. But you can see like in the series, I hate trying to give it away, but the series focused like in the beginning, focused on Suzette not wanting to even play the drums, and then coming full circle where they did like a show. And the little girl snuck out to go to the show. You would think she was sneaking out to see Selena. She was sneaking out to see Suzette because she was like, I've never seen a female play the drums.
Right.
So
and that was kind of Suzette's from the movie, from what I remember from the movie, that's what she was like, boys play the drums, not girls.
yeah, so that was a part of the series where she was just like, I'm a girl, I'm not supposed to play the drums. And then Selena goes, but Sheila E plays the drums, and she was like, well, I go get Sheila E then. But it's honestly it people that have not seen it, I recommend looking at it and not thinking of the movie. I think that sometimes is what ruins it, is when you look at the movie.
When you look at the movie and then they keep comparing, because I've seen a lot of people say the actress Selena picture, and then you got the J-Lo, and then you got the new girl. There's nothing like Selena.
But guess
what?
what they fucked up is they put the picture of Selena in the purple outfit. They put the picture of J-Lo in the purple outfit.
And then they got
the
the other
series
one.
you haven't even gotten to fucking the Alamo. You're not even, because they're doing, I guess it has to, the way that it ended, it has to be a second season, because shit, you just got, we didn't even touch Yolanda yet. Like, we only got a piece of it. So it's not even done. So it's just like, slow your horses, enjoy it. But I do recommend watching it. Cause
I'm just trying to find the moment, because this is the thing. Once all the Christmas movies started coming on.
Oh my God, you and Brittany and these damn Christmas movies. Shit.
See, she does the Hallmark movies. I do the Home Alone. My favorite Christmas movie is The Polar Express. I can see it like 50 times. I do not get tired of it.
Oh my God.
I watched A Christmas Carol yesterday. I saw it yesterday, and I saw it the day before yesterday. And I was just like, because it's Freeform and AMC. Those are the two channels that are doing all the...
Yeah, all the Christmas.
Yes.
30
so
days
since
of
November.
Christmas shit.
So the moment it started,
That's
I haven't
all
even watched like
Yeah,
Raw or
I haven't.
SmackDown
Those
because I'm
are
watching it.
those are listening. So I went to because my best friend Brittany, we talk about it all the time, but Brittany and Amanda are roommates, and I went over to the house last week, and literally these hoes is watching Christmas movies. I said what is going on? And what was crazy was when me and Mikey had went to DC that morning, Tuesday morning. It was flurries. I said Mikey, it's snowing. He was like, it is snowing. I said, yeah, but it was just like flurries. Then we come back the next day.
And it's snowing here.
Full blown snowing.
Let me tell you,
I said, what? Yo, and where I work in the back, so I don't have a window or anything. So I didn't know until he texted me. He said, yo, it's snowing. I was like, no, it's not. So I went out to the store floor and I said, yo, it's snowing.
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
Because the thing is, like, every morning I always check the weather on my phone so that I know how to prepare myself and stuff like that.
Right.
So those that know me, I'm like, I get cold for any little thing. Like, I'm freezing right now. And so
I love the cold. Mikey
no,
hates
I
that.
don't.
I love
hate the cold. You know, Jay's always dragging, and he was like, "Yo, it'd be like 70 degrees and you cold." I'm like, "Fuck you, it's not true."
It could be,
but
though.
I mean, it could be because so I'm anemic, so I'm always.
Oh, so you're always. It's
yes.
a different type of cold.
So yeah. So like, I put the little girl I take care of to sleep yesterday, and I look out the window, and because I'm talking to my boss, and I was just like, "Oh shit!" And he was like, "What happened?" I was like, "It's snowing." He was like. Yeah.
Yo, I came out on the floor. I said, "Oh shit, it's snowing." That was my exact, because we literally got back into New York, and it literally the entire, because Hollywood. Highly recommend Amtrak. One of the best train. Yo, me like he lost our shit. Like when we got on the train, we was like, "Yo, this shit is lit." We slept the whole ride. It was comfortable as fuck. Like it just was wild. And then coming back, it was sunny. Literally the entire train ride. Like we went to sleep, of course, but when I woke up and we were in Jersey, I was like, "Oh, it's sunny. Okay, cool." We get back to New York. It's a little cloudy, but it's still sunny. Cool. I'm not at work for an hour and it's full blown snow. I said, "What is?"
Because the thing is, like when I checked, it said it was gonna rain between 12 and 1 o'clock. So I said, "Okay, no problem." I mean, by the time I get out of work, the rain should be gone. So when I see that, like, it's like this the
Low-key, it looks like
snow.
Low-key look like Blizzard. I was confused
Yeah,
as fuck.
I was just
like,
like,
whoa.
And mind you, like I've been wearing boots the whole week except for yesterday. And so I had
Thank God
my
it didn't
sneakers on,
stick.
and I looked and I was like, and so like when I saw it and I said it to my boss is just like mellowed out, like, oh yeah, he's not worried about it because he's staying home the rest of the day. His wife was trying to like compromise with him, like, hey, do you want to pick up the kids instead? He's like, nope, it's your turn.
Damn.
So I was just like, and I'm over here like, I gotta fucking go home. Usually I walk home because I like to get the cardio in. And it's like my source of exercise now. But yesterday I was just like, nope, I'm taking the bus home.
Yeah, no. All right. So that's just a little recap of what's been going on in our lives. Yeah. So we're going to jump into this episode's topic. And we kind of went back and forth about it because, you know, I mean, we definitely want to get everybody that listens and supports the podcast more involved. So once again, if you're listening and you know us and you have a way that you could always DM at Sazon Talk on Instagram. Any topics or ideas you guys have for discussions, please feel free to suggest that to us. We take suggestions at any time because we definitely, once again, want everybody to be involved. And I think, I think another part of the feedback that we've gotten is just like how our viewpoints are on certain things as you know, as 21st century women, like, how do we think of these things? And it's like, you know, so it's kind of good to, you know, it's a good feeling when people appreciate your opinion and what you know, how you see things. So once again, you can follow us on at Sazon Talk on Instagram and make sure you can tell a friend to tell a friend, but also you can DM us and let us know any suggestions on topics or discussions or questions that you may want us to answer on the podcast. But this week, we're going to jump into double standards. Where do we begin? Double standards is such a, like, I guess a blanket thing, but I'm going to shoot it in the air. Like, when you hear double standards, Amanda, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Well, because we were just talking about
in pre-production, we were talking about it.
Yes.
In pre-production.
So, like, because the example that you gave is mainly my main focus because it pisses me off.
So the example I gave her, because for me, when I think of double standards, I automatically kind of go into, and it goes back into our last episode when we talk about gender roles and guys and girls and things like that, Venus and Mars and all that type of shit. But when I think of double standard, what comes to my mind is when, as a female, you can sleep with mad niggas. Like, mad niggas. And automatically, you're looked at as a hoe. You a thot.
She's
a thot. She out here, she don't respect herself. All this other type of shit. And then, but on the flip side, if a guy sleeps with multiple women,
it's okay.
Yo, that's my guy. He knows what he's doing.
Oh, you smashed.
Oh, you smashed her and her.
Voice. Oh, you smashed.
Oh, you smashed her and her on the same day. Oh, you the man. You popping. And it's just like.
Or even like
what?
when it comes to if the guy was having sex with somebody that's in a relationship already, she's the only one that's a hoe. When the other person, the other guy, is in a whole ass relationship too.
You know what? I'm so glad. Actually, I feel like actually that should be the topic, low key, because but ladies and gentlemen, we've experienced some things in life that included. Let me tell you. But yeah. So I wanted to bring up double standards because it does grind my gear because, you know, as a female that not saying me, but as a female that's in tune with herself, that does have multiple sexual partners, is her business. You know, her being safe, that's on her. You know, those things. I don't think it's fair that automatically she's labeled as a hoe, a thot, or she don't respect herself, she don't respect her body. But then you got all these guys out here that do the exact same thing, and they get
okay.
And they get praised.
Pounded.
They get
like,
praised.
That's
like, oh, you my guy. Like, it's so funny because
it pisses me off.
It's wild, and I think it's even wilder. So, like, shout outs to 2.5 Bros. Lawrence forever and a day, more recently than ever. He'd be like, yo, you're my role model. And I'd be like, what are you, like, what? Don't be like,
I appreciate you.
Yeah. Yo, I
wanna grow up
appreciate
and be
you.
like
I
you.
want to grow up and be like you. And I'm just like, yo, if you only knew half of the shit, I always tell my friends, and Amanda can attest to it, I want better for them. I don't want none of them to go through the trials and tribulations that I've gone through, whether it's professionally or personally. I feel like any good friend will want their friends to have better. So when he says it to me, I'm like, no, you don't want to be like me at all. Like it's,
you don't want to go through what I've been through.
No, like when you brought up, like, just saying now when a guy sleeps with somebody and they married, I'm like, listen, guilty. You don't want to do that. Like, that's not the road. I was like, that's not the road you want to go down, because feelings are involved. You know, you looked at as, you know, as the female in this situation, and once again, it goes with the double standard. The female in this situation is the one in the wrong, but is she though? Because he has a whole family. He takes the time out to come and chill with you. Like, so who's really the bad guy? I mean, both parties should be an equal amount of wrong. And like, you know, like anything, no one's perfect. No one, you know, you go through trial and error on a lot of things, and you know, you find out what you like, what you don't like, and all that jazz. But when you're in those type of situations, that's why I'm like, nah, bro, you actually don't, you don't want this. Like, I promise you, you don't. But I think he says it more because of the current space that I'm in now. And I'm like, bro, and it's funny. I told Mikey the other day, I said, if somebody would have asked me 6 months ago, Janelle, you're going to have a whole situation, I'd be like, no, I'm not. You's a liar. Like, I would have laughed in their face.
Yeah.
Completely.
Knowing how you are, you be like, you valid.
You old then. Like, nah. But
oh, no, this is Nellie's word. Good night.
Yeah, like, good night. Nelly has have left the child. Like, nah. So 6 months ago, I'd have been like, nah. So now looking back, I'm like, the joke's really on me. The joke's on me now, guys. But in terms of double standard, not only, I guess, like, on the sexual side of things, but also professionally. Like, professionally, and we spoke about, you know, when we talked about Selena.
Yes.
Just now, even Suzette playing the drums, like, it's a man's thing to do. Like, it's, you know, only a guy can do it. And, you know, it's like, no, like, females are pretty talented as well, but they don't get the recognition, or, you know, in the professional world, you know, men get paid more than women in certain, you know, roles and duties and things like that. And mind you, the female can have more of an education, more of an experience, but then yet not get the right do justice for her. And it's just like, at what point how do you stand up against that? Like, how do you say, all right, enough is enough? Because, you know, even, you know, when the boys be like, oh, you know, she's a hoe, she sleep with this, that, and the other, but then if you do it, it's like, I'm the man.
Those that, like, my close family, meaning like you and everybody else that knows me, an uncle of mine passed away. He makes 3 years on the 22nd of this month, so that was like my close uncle. And but when he was alive, before he ended up getting with the witch that he was with before, but he would go to the clubs a lot with my other uncle, which is his brother, and they would hook up with girls. But they would do this a lot.
Wait, in the club?
Yeah, they'll find a girl, they bring her back home, and then, you know, fuck her, and then good night.
You know, I've only done that, I feel like, once in my life.
Like, one night stand?
No, okay, so after me and my ex, story time with Nelly. Yo, because the last time I told the story about how I found out my ex was cheating, and then I ended up smashing, and then asking him, Mikey hits me with the, yo, you're ruthless. Like, who the fuck does that? I was like, oh, well, like, bitch got needs too, but I'ma still ask that ass, like, fuck is you doing? Right. But story time with Nelly on Sazon Talk. So, after me and my ex of like 6.5, 7 years, like, we split up. That summer, I was wild Nelly. Like, you couldn't tell me shit. Because, they say the best thing to get over a situation is just to find another nigga. And it was just like, okay, I'll try my best. So one night I had went to, shout out to Turtle Bay. It's not there no more. R.I.P. to Turtle Bay. But Turtle Bay was like this hot bar spot. Always had happy hour, always had open bar type of shit in kind of like around the, was it 51st and 2nd? So we go there all the time, like after I graduated, after I graduated college, so like maybe like 2012, 2013, 2014. So around that time, we was always at fucking Turtle Bay. Turtle Bay 2 floors. So the first floor is with a bar, you can sit, you can eat, chill, whatever. The second floor is like dance floor, bar, chill.
It's like was it Tonic?
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's kind of set up like Tonic. Well, Tonic's more of the rest because they have, Tonic's 3 floors. But yeah, same vibes.
Okay.
Same vibes. So I had went out and I think I had an open bar. I think I went for a friend's open bar. And I had went and I ended up bumping into this guy I went to college with. And his homeboys they was out having a guy night. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I always like, anyone that knows me, I always vibe better with guys anyway. Until I got into adulthood is when I started really having close girlfriends. So I automatically vibe with the guys. Like I think there could have been a game on. We were watching the game. We were eating, blah, blah, blah. One of my friends, so the guy I knew from college, his homeboy, me and him kind of like clicked or whatever. Nice, sweet, smart guy. Like if it really was like a possibility, I definitely would have dated him. But I don't know why we didn't date, but it's just every time it just wasn't the right time. But anyway, so that night, like, we vibed. We was going shot for shot. That's how you know shit gonna go down. If I'm going shot for shot with somebody, it's a wrap. So I was going shot for shot. We were going shot for shot. I think I had Jaeger bombs with him. Like, we went in.
I remember Jaeger bombs with you.
See that, and then you just look what happens. Look what happens. So when it's that type of night, shit gonna go left. So at the time. At the time, I was still living in the Bronx. I lived in Bedford Park area of the Bronx at the time. So I was like, damn, I gotta go back, to the Bronx. Not knowing that the dude, I was connecting with, like vibing with, he lived in the Bronx. He lived like almost off of University. So I said, oh, okay, you know what? Do you want to split a cab home or whatever? And then he was like, well, what if I just go back to your place? And I was just like, okay, that works too. Whatever. He said, I can go home in the morning. I was like, okay, whatever. Because, now I'm single Nelly. So now I gave 0 fucks at that time. But nice guy. It was definitely more of those, like whenever we linked, on and popping type of thing. So it never went anywhere, unfortunately. And I actually still don't know why. But it was definitely one of those, like, whenever, like, he'll like randomly hit me up if he was like in Brooklyn. Like, did that happen? Let me not tell on myself, but it definitely was no time recent. Let me put that on the table because whole nigga's crazy. But I would say, I think, major trouble. I think though at the beginning of Corona though, he had randomly hit me up. I think maybe around your graduation. Like, it could have been around like May or something, April, May or something like that. He was in Brooklyn. Like, whenever he's in Brooklyn, he'll hit me up because I still live in Brooklyn. Now I live in Brooklyn. So he was at some friends like partying. He was just like, mind you, it's like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And they hit me up like, yo, you up? I was like, I'm up now. Yep. Good morning. And would come and, or he'll come like if I was in the city or anything, like he'll be like, oh, I'll come he's come and scoop me up. But I say that to say, like, as a female, like I think it's hypocritical on any guy's part to look or frown upon a female that, that's either her prerogative, if she wants to play the playing field, that's her prerogative. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't make her a bad person or a bad character. Right. It's all about how you carry yourself too, because I can say both of us at the table. I could be a flat out hoe and no one would fucking know. Mm-hmm. And it's not to say I am. I'm just saying. But I could. But it's all about how you carry yourself. Like, I'm not sitting here like not gonna like listen. I'm gonna tell some stories on this podcast that y'all probably ain't never heard, but that's because I promised Amanda that I would be open to the possibility of telling things. So that's my gift to her is to be open on the podcast. But it's not something that, you know, like you gotta go out and scream to the fucking top of your lungs, like, yeah, I done slept with man.
Yeah, and
niggas.
that's what I mean, like, in regards to, like, when my uncles used to do it, I'm like, yo, y'all fucking man hoes. And, like, we ain't no man hoe. I'm like, yeah, a man hoe. Nah, because the way they would refer to them, like, yo, yeah, I slept with that hoe. I'm like, you a man hoe. Like, what the fuck? Why you just
Yeah,
calling
like,
her
you can't,
hoe?
like, if you, listen, it take two.
Yeah.
So, like, if you gonna sit here and call me a hoe, huh, my guy, so are you. Like, that is on you. So, but I think as a female, it's unfortunate that we are so quick to be labeled as, you know, as a hoe or things like that because of how comfortable we are with ourselves sexually and things like that. I think it's
and
not
I
fair.
think even, like, I remember taking my second semester of college, and it was my early childhood class, and we were talking, because obviously the room was full of females, and we had two guys out of everybody. There was just two guys that were in the class for early childhood males, teachers. And my degree is from birth to second grade. So we were talking about how, you know, the teacher was saying, like, we need more male teachers, but unfortunately, a lot of parents, especially mothers, do not feel comfortable with their child. If they have a daughter, they don't feel comfortable with their child being in a classroom if their teacher is a male. Or, like, in a nursery school or something. Because I remember my first job in a daycare, they were strictly women only.
Yeah. Shout out to my homegirl Tiff, who is an avid listener of Sazon Talk. She does work at like a child daycare as well. And I think she said to me, I think only one, maybe if two, but definitely there was only one guy that worked in the school.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because it's hard to have that stigmatism because you have women that are predators too.
Yes.
And to automatically write men off who sometimes can have a different tone and a different approach to things and to situations where, you know, where as us as women may not in terms of school settings. Because I used to teach. I used to do like after school teaching, and I did like a summer program where I was like the lead teacher and things like that. So like, you know, as kids, they're so used to the predominant female role being in the classroom, being able to take take discipline from the female role, but I think to automatically for guys to be written off in that sense, I think that's wild.
Yeah, like even one of the guys, like he gave his story that he was changing a diaper and he needed to be supervised.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the mom didn't, not that he was doing anything wrong, like he was just changing the child's diaper. But for his safety, it was better if they had somebody supervising him in case somebody was to go and say something against him. There was somebody that was there supervising what he was doing.
So I think it's crazy, like different settings have, you know, the double standard, you know, predominantly present because especially in the school setting, like growing up, I could think of my English teacher, high school is different, but like junior high, or elementary. I don't remember any.
I feel like
men teachers except for the gym teacher.
Like pre-K, yeah, because that's what it's more commonly you see.
Yeah, like
a male teacher when it comes to the gym.
Yeah, like I can think of like in elementary school, I think the gym teacher was a guy. When I got to
the music teacher was a guy from my elementary.
Okay, maybe too. You know, because everybody in New York City played the flute.
Yeah.
The recorder. Excuse me, the recorder.
Yes, the recorder.
You play the recorder.
Flute is the one.
Because flute is this long. Yeah, the flute is the actual instrument. The recorder is like the hood version of the flute. And then junior high, my science teacher was a guy. My English teacher was a guy.
Mine was my swimming teacher.
Ooh, yeah, swimming. Ooh.
Yeah, we had swimming. We had a choice of either doing swimming or gym. So I chose
I would choose swimming in a heartbeat.
Yeah. So yeah, my swimming teacher was a male. My Spanish teacher was a male, and my English teacher was a male.
And then in high school, my social studies, my global and U.S. history teacher was a guy. The first round of math, we went through so many math teachers, it's ridiculous. The first round of math, Mr. Toribio, shout out to him. He was a guy. Mr. Hughes, our gym teacher, was a guy. Try to think what else. Because it's crazy, because even if you go even in the higher up, so like when I started high school.
Yeah, when it's higher up, you get more male.
Yeah, so I started high school. My high school principal, shout outs to David Banks, was a guy. And then he ended up starting a whole nother school. So then the assistant principal ended up being the principal of the school. Shout outs to Miss Porter Ross. And she ended up being our high school principal throughout our tenure in high school. And then my old Spanish teacher ended up being the new principal years down the road, because my old principal ended up being superintendent of of a district in the Bronx.
Nice.
So I mean, it's so hard because we live in this world that, you know, like there are only certain things that guys can do.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to, because I was just thinking about it now. When it comes to even occupation,
Yeah.
they just they rely more on like, oh, you see teachers and you think, you see females and okay, you're a teacher or you're gonna be a nurse.
A nurse, yeah.
Even for male nurses, it's just like when I see male nurses, like I don't know, like not that it excites me, but it makes me proud.
But I don't think so. Like as you know, as the older you get, you as a woman, you know, you get into different doctors, so you get into gynos and things. But I don't think I can get a male gynecologist. I don't think I don't think I would want another guy looking at my cooch. I don't know if I'm okay. Like, I guess I would have to fill him out. Like I wouldn't write it out, but that wouldn't be my first go-to.
So my gyno has always been a female.
Yeah.
And then now, because I used to go to Mount Sinai for my gyno, my GYN. And then, but now because my PCP, she also does gyno.
Oh, so nice.
It's just easier for me just to go to her. Yeah. But I remember one time, I think I was starting off birth control, but I was on the pill. And
I can't get jiggy with that. Sorry.
I freaking had my period for almost a month.
What?
And I was just
see,
like,
that's why I can't get. That's why. Okay, totally off double standard topic, but still very spicy to talk about. So I can't do the birth control shit at all. Like, I'm not. First of all, anybody knows me knows I don't even like taking medicine when I'm sick. So off rip, I'm not with I can't swallow pills. I'm not getting jiggy with nothing that's gonna alter my natural body state. So the idea of fucking birth control fucking terrifies me because of shit like that, like. Or getting UDI, like all that shit.
IUD.
Yeah, I can't get with that. Yeah. First of all, no. Second, no. But I can't the whole idea of, all right, I'm going to take this pill. It's 99.9% chance that I won't get pregnant. But a bitch like me, I would be the one fucking percent. I would forget. Or I would be the 1% where it doesn't work for me.
Right.
I feel it in my bones, so I can never do that. But the whole thing of taking it and then
the pills, because I used to forget.
Oh, see, yeah, no.
Yeah, I would forget, and then
if it was like something I could drink,
every day
I'd fuck with
at
it.
The same fucking time.
See, yeah, no.
So I would forget because sometimes I would like doze off, and then
the way my schedule is set up, the way my mind is set up.
But
I'm late to everything. So imagine. Right. Janelle taking a fucking birth control. I'm late to every fucking thing. I would be late. Like, shit would be ineffective. Right. So, but just the whole idea of taking it to them where it alters, you know, my period every month, where I'm prepared. I got an app. I already know, like, a week before I get nauseous. Like, I know what time it is.
Right.
Without that shit. So, the idea of taking it, I would be like, my whole shit would change, and I'd be fucked up in the game. I probably, you know what? I probably more likely end up pregnant taking birth control because I'm obnoxious as fuck.
So I end up having to go because since I'm anemic, so I was just like, yo, I've been losing too much blood. So like I had to go because I was getting more cold.
And then being anemic, you don't have as much iron, and
yes.
and that's the thing when you're on your period, you're losing iron
Yes.
because you're losing blood and all that type of shit.
So because I used
we're
to
complicated
like
bitches.
Yeah, I used to get like the shakes. I would like shake every time I was on my period. Like I would get weak. Yeah. So I went to the ER. And then the doctor that they had was a guy. And
was he cute?
He was not. He was old.
Old on me, he not cute.
No, but I mean, like,
but he fine as fuck.
He was like grandpa old.
Listen,
but he was
grandpa old. Do not listen. That's a double standard. Don't think that grandpa old ain't cute and fine. And he ain't got some money. So
no, he was not. He wasn't. Was not cute.
Like my anesthesiologist, when I had taken out my gallbladder last year, he was like an old Russian guy, but he was kind of cute. He had a little swag. He was swaggy. Because for me, you got to make me laugh. Like I gotta, like that's the one thing I love about my current situation is like, yo, we'll be on the fucking floor, like for no fucking reason. Like we can look at each other and fucking laugh at each other. Like it's stupid, but I love that shit. So the fact that my anesthesiologist, old Russian guy, made me laugh as he was about to put me under and I couldn't remember shit, make me laugh. I was like, oh, you little swaggy little old man, you. Okay. Like, you do this on a regular. Because he was just like, what's a beautiful girl like you doing on this table? I said, well, I got a gallbladder that could explode at any moment. So this is why I'm here. Right. So I don't know.
But, yeah, even like, but now, like, because even when I was at Mount Sinai, I think there might have been like one doctor out of the many doctors that were there that was a male for the GYN.
See, now, dentist, though, because I love the dentist.
Let me tell you.
Listen.
We were just talking about hotness, and once upon a time when I was at 17 years old and I went to NYU, girl, let me tell you.
Who? Story time with Amanda.
So I was going to NYU for those that know me or don't know me. So I've always had, after I lost my baby teeth, my teeth turned yellow. And it was they was trying to figure it out, but they ended up finding out that it was actually because I was taking so much antibiotics as a kid because I was always getting ear infections, which still triggers me to this day. Mm-hmm. So much of the antibiotics is what messed up my teeth.
Okay. So
I was trying everything in my power to find a way to get my teeth white. So my mom took me to NYU, and I met my doctor, and his name was Dr. Alex. So, he was like, just follow me, whatever. So I'm following, and then I, like, see him stop at the corner. Like, I thought he stopped at the corner. He was like, just keep going straight. And I was just like, okay. But I was like, that was so weird. I swear that he was going straight. So I sit in the doctor's chair. Mm-hmm. They're twins.
Oh, shit. They played the okie doke on you.
Yes, but they were, like, so hot. And I was just like, I was 17. They might have been, like, 20-something. The only way you knew the difference, one had blue eyes, the other one had green eyes.
Whoa.
But they were fucking hot. And I was just like, oh, I'm in trouble. There's two of them. Like, oh my God. And then,
I'm my automatic
when
ass.
I blush, you could tell right away.
Ass, I'd be like, all right, which one I'm going to bag today? Like, that's the one thing I find so funny because people are always like, yo, Janelle, you're so bold. And I'm just like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm obnoxious as fuck. Like, so to me, it doesn't, I guess to the outside of world, it's like, oh, you're so bold. Like, you would talk to someone because I
feel like I'm like that.
What?
Like I'm bold because
real good. You should
like,
be
as shy as I can be sometimes. Like if you Dre's gonna tell you something different. But when Dre and I started reconnecting, I slid in his DMs. He says that he slid in mine.
Okay,
I
so
remember me sliding
Mikey
in
will
his
tell.
first.
Mikey will tell. I think he said it like when we did our episode. Make sure to check out Game Night with Mike and Nelly. I actually inboxed him. But it was because it's crazy because I feel like now looking back, I'm like, yo, if I didn't inbox this nigga, I wouldn't be like nothing would be what it is today. So it all came off of a Facebook comment he did. He did an eye emoji. Come on, you can't eye emoji me and not think I'm an ass, not ass.
Yeah,
fuck is you looking
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, so
I saw that eye emoji and then you was like, "What you looking at?"
Yes. So I took it. So I said that on the post, but then I also inboxed him and I said, "Well, what are you looking at?" Mm-hmm. And then Murder She Wrote. So for him, he's like, you bagged me. And I'm like, no, I don't see it that way.
Yeah, because because I was going through Snapchat and you guys were at NOLA for Mania. And I saw, like, he had posted, like, with his belt and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, you at WrestleMania? And he was like, yeah. So I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like, we were chopping it up, whatever. And that was that, like, for that day. Because it was, like, ready lights and whatever. So then the next day, I posted something from what he says. And then he commented on it. So we had a whole conversation, whatever. And in my mind, I was already setting up my game plan. Because, you know, I was freshly divorced.
I wonder if that's, like, a female thing to do. Like, do we already go into it with a game? We're going to, and you know what? That actually is going to be a great segue into our next episode when we talk about the topic of that episode. But I always wonder, like, do we have the game plan already set up? Because, like, when me and Mikey started talking, it was just like, I didn't really have a game plan, but I did. Mm-hmm. But I never expected it to be this. Like, it went, like, I look back, I'm like, that's a joke.
Because my game plan was basically, like, my mentality, because, like I said, I was freshly just separated with my ex. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, if he goes and he says, how's the husband? I'm literally going to say, what husband? And surely enough, that's exactly what he said. How's the husband?
I mean, that's what real niggas do.
What husband? And he was like, oh, he sent me his number. He said, you can't leave me hanging like this. So after that, we just started talking. And then he came back from NOLA and we went on our
You know what's crazy, though? So that's kind of actually how me and Arizona started talking.
No.
Because when I met him.
They're going to start saying, wait, does she name everybody with?
I do. So anyway, okay, I'm gonna put this blanket statement on the table as you get into more and more episodes of Sazon Talk. Anytime,
yes, she's gonna start naming states.
If I name us, because I'm not going outside of my current situation, with my boyfriend Mikey. Outside of that, because I'll say his name.
She said her boyfriend.
I did. Oh, sue me now.
Look at
the mystique is gone now. This nigga done took everything away from me now. After we did that episode, I was like, all right, I can't deny this nigga no more. Because it's so funny because he told me his sister listened to it and she was like, oh, y'all so cute. Like, anybody that's listened to it, it's like, y'all so cute. And I'm just like, I don't want to be cute. Like, I don't want none of that shit.
What happened to me?
The fuck? Right. Like, who is this person? Who are you, Janelle? But anyone that knows me previously, anytime I used to talk to someone, like if I tell my girlfriends or anything, I typically name them, like, where they from. So to not, disclose their names and things like that, because I respect people's privacy and things like that. So, but anyone that knows me knows if I name a state or a city or something like that, I'm talking about someone I used to talk to and where they live.
Dealt with once upon a time.
So once upon a time. So not too long ago though. But that's why I'm like, ooh, double stated. I kind of got into something before any sign. That's what niggas do when I did it. Oops, sorry. But that's how me and Arizona started talking, because when I met him the year before during WrestleMania here in New York, he was married. Mm-hmm. So I didn't, and at the time I was talking to his homeboy. So, so I really move like a nigga. Like, it's just, that's why I wanted to talk about double standard, because I never want somebody to be like, oh my God, like she's just all over the place. It's just like, no, like I respect myself. I respect my body. I respect who I am as a female, but I move how I move. Okay. And I should never be criticized for that. I treat everyone with the same respect that they give me, and that's that. So that's why I'm like, when guys be like, oh my gosh, she's a hoe. Like, no, actually, just like you like pussy, I like dick, and that's that. And I like entertaining guys, just like you like entertaining females, and it'll be what it is. But anyway, so yeah, at the time I was talking to his homeboy. So, but anyway, so I didn't think nothing of it. Like, I was just like, okay. And I've been a ring around the rosy with a whole person that's been married. So I was just like, all right, he's not even in my peripheral. Like, I'm not even looking his way. But he's super cool, super nice, super talented. And that's the one thing I will always say about him, is he's talented as fuck. So fast forward, coronavirus season. Me and Mr. Black, shout out to Mr. Black, we were on live on Java Tears Podcast, Instagram. And he wanted to, I think he was doing a series of interviews. So he wanted to talk to me, of all people. Great. So, but Arizona had popped on the live. And at that time.
Sorry, I was sidetracked. Okay, Arizona.
Yeah. So at the time, no. No. We'll get to that because he still feels entitled about a lot of shit, which I don't understand. Another double standard situation. But anyway, so Arizona had popped on the live, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. But at that moment, that's when Yarly's asked me, like, well, what kind of guys do you like to date? And I was just like, why would you ask me that on live? Like, what the fuck? Like, he was like, well, I'm here to ask you hard-hitting questions that the fans want to know. I was like, no one wants to know that.
This is Jeff for Jabba Tears or for his show?
It was on our live, but it was like the Mr. Black. It was his show.
Okay.
He was like, I just got to hit you with the hard-hitting questions. And I was like, no, you don't. But I had told him, what kind of guys I was, that I'm into, blah, blah, blah. And then it was something that Arizona had said on the live where he had gave off that he wasn't married anymore. And I was like, wait, whoa, what? So, of course, curiosity kills the cat always. Mm-hmm. So I ended up inboxing this nigga like, so what happened? But it wasn't even on some like, so I want to talk to you now. It was just like, I'm nosy as fuck.
Like details, please.
I'm going to need the tea.
Mm-hmm.
So me, being curious as fuck, that's how that situation blossomed into that. So that's why when you said Dre, I was like, oh, that happened to me too.
Yeah.
I got curious and asked what happened.
Yeah, because I mean, like, Dre and I obviously have history from high school.
Mm-hmm.
And, but when you're in high school, it's just not the same.
It's not. Like, even, like, when I look at, like, when I was with my ex, when we went to college together, we knew each other our senior year of high school. Like, we went to different high schools, but I knew him from 2006, 2007. And looking now, he's in his own, he has a girlfriend, he has his own situation. He lives in co-op. Like, he has his own life. But looking now, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, we're totally two different people.
Right.
So that's why, like, it's super important no matter what type of situation you're in. Like, if you're going to grow with the person, that's one thing. But both individuals have to grow. And then both individuals are going to have to respect and understand each other's own growth in order for it to work. Mm-hmm. So that's my little advice, Janelle's corner of advice. Make sure you know who you're dealing with before you deal with them. All the above.
Right.
But so what time is it?
56.
Okay, so we're going to come to the end of this episode. So I got one more Nelly story with the double standard because it's outrageous as fuck.
Okay.
So Chicago. I had when we had recently went to Tampa, right? I said, oh, I'm going out of town. I'm going to Tampa for like 24 hours. I'll be back. Cool. He was like, all right. Because I had spoke to him, because I'm still very close with his mom. Mm-hmm. Like, I adore her. Like, if she ever needs anything, she can call my phone. She can hit me up, whatever. I don't care. That's just off rip. Because for me, first of all, that nigga threw me into the fire pit meeting his mom. Or the first time I met him, I met his mom. So it was like, oh, whoa. Sir. Like, don't do that.
Right.
But parentals love me, so what did you expect? But still have a really good relationship with his mom. Still, one of his close friends. Well, they used to be really close, but one of his close friends. I'm still very cool with her, and it was her birthday. And originally, I was gonna try to go out there and come back. Like, it just would have been a lot though. So I said, "Girl, I'm not gonna surprise you. It is what it is. Happy birthday. I love you." So we were all on FaceTime, chit-chatting, and blah, 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 blah. And that's when I was like, oh, I'm going to Tampa for a day. I'll be back in New York the next day. So the morning we flew out, he called me to just make sure I was safe, which I appreciate because, people don't have to do any of that stuff. So that off rip, I'm like, you know what? I appreciate it. I take it for what it is. But you live with a whole other bitch now. You got a whole household. Mm-hmm. Fuck is you worried about little old me? So he was like, oh, hit me up when you get back to New York so I know you safe. I say. Cool. Did I do that? No, because I'm not obligated to do that anymore. Mm-hmm. Like that I'm not really of most concern to you. So then fast forward to the other day, yesterday, he calls me upset, like, how you didn't hit me up and let me know you safe, like you back in New York, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, is this a joke? Like, are you serious right now? Like, are you really mad? Like, he's like, I fell away. And I'm like, the only way that I would feel absolutely comfortable telling you any type of thing about anything that goes on with me is if your situation at home knows that you still talk to me. which she doesn't. So hopefully she never hears this episode of Sazon Talk. But
or have somebody say, "Oh, you should listen."
Yeah. Here, sis. Here's a link.
Episode 5 of Sazon Talk.
But that's my thing. It's like you can't. It all goes full circle with the double standard. Like you can't sit there and want to act like you care 1 minute, but then you're not being honest with your situation. Like that's the one thing that I can appreciate about with me and mine is that I'm completely honest. Like even when we first started talking and I still talking to somebody else, like he knew. Like so I say that with the double standard because you can't sit there and act like you care 1 minute, but then you really don't show the type of level of respect for both parties involved. Because I'm pretty confident she would not appreciate you still talking to me because of how she probably knows how you feel about me still. So it just is like, it amazes me when people feel like you owe them something. And I feel like that's definitely a double standard thing is like when people feel like, oh, you owe them an explanation or you owe them this.
Yeah, so I know somebody that's like that. And, like, when me and Dre were together, like, he was legit trying to tell me, like, how he will be waiting for me.
He's not waiting for shit.
And I was just like, waiting for what? Like, I'm that type of girl, like, I'm going to tell you straight up, like, don't do that. Like, why would you want to wait for me? Like, don't do that. Like, you're kind of waiting for, like, the structuring to happen. And so.
You're waiting for me to be my utmost lowest.
Right.
For what?
And then, but I'm also just like, don't stop your blessing because you're trying to, like, now you want me because I'm taken. Like, I hated that.
Ooh.
When I was single,
listen,
it was empty fields.
We gonna end this episode on that note because that shit is real. Like, when you out here single and ready to mingle, ain't nobody looking at you. Like, nobody. Like, and it's gonna be a good segue into the next episode. So, yeah, so when you single and ready to mingle, ain't nobody looking at you. You are, like, it is what it is. Right. But the moment you get with a whole individual.
Or you post a picture with somebody else.
That was the most written DM message. Oh, you got a boo now? Really? That's what not hello, not how are you?
Or, like, congratulations or something.
Like
I've had
you got a boo now? What did it matter to you? Because 2 weeks ago when I didn't have a boo, what was you doing? Nothing. But anyway, we're going to end that episode with that. Make sure that, once again, you follow at Sazon Talk on Instagram. And make sure to tell a friend about our first, now 5 episodes. We're halfway there to the 10th episode. How do you feel?
I'm happy. I'm excited.
I'm excited, too.
I'm yay-as.
Oh. You know what? I can't deal with you sometimes. But once again, please make sure to tell a friend to listen to the first 5 episodes of Sazon Talk. This episode concluded and talk about double standards, whether it was in a personal or the professional field. I think both viewpoints are important to just kind of like bring up so that you kind of check yourself. You kind of just make sure that, all right, like, maybe I shouldn't, like, you can't frown upon something that you do. Like, I'm never going to be about that. So I think it gives, both women and men an opportunity to kind of just check themselves. So that's why I kind of wanted to bring this topic to the forefront because it's something that happens on a day-to-day basis. And it's, it goes even back to the video vixen days. Like, when all the girls was out here tip drilling. But then when you got the men's is out here naked and all this other stuff, they ain't nobody saying nothing. But females getting credit cards slid through their ass. They like, oh my God, come on, can't live in a world of that. But anyway, good times though.
Right.
But anyway, I am Janelle.
I was gonna say because we always forget to say it, and I feel bad because they always shouting us out. But shout out to the rest of our podcasts. The Job of Tears podcast and your sports show.
Oh, everyone on the Job of Tears podcast network is doing big things. So, as always, our head of the Job of Tears podcast going into almost 3 years. Oh my God, like this shit is wild. And then you have your sports that's up and coming, that's syndicated, by the way. So if you can hear it on the radio. So shout outs to them.
Yes.
Super proud of them. 2.5 Bros up and coming. They got a lot of spicy episodes coming up. So they're a bunch of fun. We're definitely gonna do a crossover episode in 2021, and that'll be fun. The Mr. Black show's coming back in 2021. My limited series of game night. We're gonna listen. So we were talking, and we want to invite. We don't want to make it like a couples thing, but we do want to invite other people on. So we have 2 sets of people that we're thinking about inviting and playing a game and also having a conversation with. So stay tuned for that. So game night with Mike and Nelly, which is collaborating Welcome to the Raw Zone and Ivy Productions along with the Jabba Taste Podcast Network. So you can listen to that episode 1, Uno, where I bust his ass. He ain't gonna tell you, but I bust that ass in Uno. So make sure to listen to that. And then also, once again, not only this episode, but the first 4 episodes of Sazon Talk available on all streaming platforms. So make sure to support those that support you. We look forward to you guys coming back and hearing episode 6, which is going to be good. I'm excited to record this episode. So let's get off this. So anyways, I'm Janelle.
And I'm Amanda.
And we are out.
Bye.
So that's the